just hits, doesn't it? That the good old vibes.
Oh my gosh, dude. There's nothing that takes me back quite like just hearing that. Pow, dude. Oh my gosh. The man, the myth, the legend. He's still at it. Still the one and best of one. How you doing,
No,
man?
you're talking about you. We're talking about the Arjuna man. They see me every day. This is the legend has returned. So for those who might be clicking on this for the first time, Arjuna and I had a podcast that ran multiple years called the ArenaCraft Podcast. Really, it was your baby. You started it without a co-host. You eventually brought me into the fold. I think it was at least 2 years. It feels like it.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
A solid 2 years. I think we missed 1 week in that whole time.
Kind of amazing. Kind of amazing. I love the ArenaCraft podcast. It was so much fun. The episodes are still up. I've been looking at the numbers on them. It's really weird because we're reviewing sets like Strixhaven, and reacting to the ban of Omnath, and those numbers just keep going up. People want the simpler times, man. They want the simpler times of banned cards and broken sets. It's not like we have those all the time in Magic. I can't keep it together.
I have to say, maybe it's just a bias, right? Like because I was there, but I feel like that was a titanic time in Magic, right? We had Eldraine. We had, cards like freaking Uro flying around. I mean, it was quite a time. It was quite a time.
The best of times and the worst of times.
Indeed.
So for one thing, we had a pandemic and we all had to stay home. And we had this new client. It was only like a year and a half old, Magic Arena. So it was like, sweet, we have something to do with our time at home. How lucky are they that they finally, after all these years, launched a great digital client right before pandemic strikes. But then card design lines up with the most broken, fucked up standards ever. So we are also dealing. So now we're playing more Magic than ever because of digital Magic, but it's toxic. It was Oko. It was horrible. It was horrible in a beautiful way. It felt like good old strip mine Armageddon standard to me.
I was gonna say, I feel like we were playing the kind of broken Magic that we hadn't seen for like 10 years at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it was quite a time, and I felt fortunate to have met you in what I believe was kind of like your great ascension, right? I think like, I just like we started making content at a time when like you were really popping off, and so it's just really exciting to see that happen for you as well.
It was before I played Commander at all. So it's before I got to do any of the cool Commander shows. It was, I was just a guy playing Arena and getting views doing it somehow. What I remember from that era is there were a lot of us. But I mean, anyway, this already turned into a retrospective. I'm going to give the audience a little behind the scenes. Arjuna messages me last week just... You know how it is. Adult friendships are hard, man. People that you love talking to every week, you'll suddenly go for a year without talking to if life gets like too crazy. And life has definitely been crazy. But you messaged me last week and you're like, I got the itch. I want to record something. So who am I to deny the crafties, right?
Well, you know what this feels like in more ways than one is it's kind of like, what must it be like when Gandalf catches up with Radagast or something, right? Because they're busy. They're out there keeping Middle-earth balanced. They're out there keeping the meta game in check. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have anything for us to smoke? Because I imagine that's a big part of it. I don't think we have that handy.
We could take the ACP to the whole next level there.
Oh man.
But that's kind of how it feels to me. It's like we've been out wizarding in the world. We've been out holding up our own corners of the universe, right? And occasionally you just got to get together and kick back and share a little Shire weed.
I see. So let's fire up the Shire weed. What have you been doing in Magic?
What have I been doing in Magic? Not a lot. I will say I've not been. The fire is not currently burning at Markov Manor when it comes to Magic for me. However, I'm in a very, very active play group, and we have a game night Facebook group that we all participate in, and it has been popping off, dude. I mean, it's like I feel like we're in the era of like maximum Magic right now. It seems like the kind of the corners are stretching and spreading and tearing in some places, and I'm super curious where it's all going to end up. But yeah, I feel like I'm witnessing like a cataclysmic shift in this whole thing that I've known as Magic.
Holy cow. That's interesting. So it's boots on the ground. So I have questions. Yeah. But first, kind of a framing reference is, corporate interests have released information that Magic has never been doing better, that Tarkir Dragonstorm was the best-selling regular Magic set of all time. Final Fantasy blew away Lord of the Rings, did as much in one day as Lord of the Rings did in 6 months.
200 million in one day, is that what I read?
That's right.
Oh,
that's
my
right.
goodness.
Obviously the pricing, we can't get away from the pricing when looking at this. That had a lot to do with it. But so when you're boots on the ground, you've got a group, you say the fire isn't burning, but you've got a play group that's popping off. Is this Commander?
So it's a mix. It's Commander and Limited are the two most common formats. Yep. And actually, what I like about that is that, when I play Limited, I get to see all the cards, right? Whereas, like, if I was playing Standard regularly, I'd only be seeing, the hot fire. And so I really like that. That kind of helps me to stay in touch with the sets as they come out. And then Commander, helps me to stay connected with just the broader sweep of Magic, right? Because any powerful card that comes out anywhere in Magic's going to show up in Commander. So it's kind of a cool mix. It kind of helps me stay up to date somewhat, even though, I've not been firing up Arena lately, which Heresy, I know. Heresy.
Those updates take a long time. The longer you wait, the more likely you're going to have a 12 gig update, and you're just going to be like, I guess I'll be back next month.
And then about 7,000 prompts to click through, and I when I freaking get into the client. Dude,
you should start it right now so we can click through all the cards that have been banned since you were last here.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know if now is the time to talk about it, but that recent ban announcement was a freaking doozy.
So you did see it?
I did.
I was gonna just start throwing cards at you and ask you if you thought they got banned, but you have seen it. Okay, that is totally legit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the first thing that made me angry when I was looking at that list was I was like, how is it still on top? How is it still the deck to beat in Standard?
You were looking at this before, like when the ban happened, you're like, how is it still good? Like before the cards that got banned or after the cards that got banned?
Well, after the cards that got banned. I mean, what I'm saying is, why did we get it to where we're still having like an Izzet deck be 40% of the Pro Tour or something like that? And I mean, because this is like years after I've retired, right? When I retired from content creation, Izzet was still on top, dude.
Oh, and was that the Kaldheim Izzet? Was that like Goldspan Dragon? What Izzet was it?
Yeah, man. Yep. We had, there was the Taking Turns deck, right? Which eventually got trimmed down, but we still had freaking Goldspan Dragon just running rampant in the format. I mean, Izzet was dominant for a good solid year at least by the, when I quit. And so it was just, I was coming back and I was looking at, like Corey Steelcutter, and I was like, what is happening at Wizards HQ, man?
Okay, we know what happened to Corey Steelcutter, but like, tell me, like when you read that card, did you think it was getting banned?
Dude, I mean, it's like steam immediately started coming out of my ears. Like that card, I mean, what is not busted about that card? I mean, I feel like that's a card I would play in mono red. You know what I'm saying? That's a
Uh-huh.
card I would put in a low curve aggro deck, dude. I mean, that you could put that in a combo deck. You could put that card in any deck, honestly, right?
An equipment deck, an artifact deck. Like what?
Right.
What do you want? A two mana
deck?
value, a token deck, a 2 mana value
Right.
matters deck, a haste deck, a prowess deck.
Yeah, I mean that's a win con and a paradoxical outcome deck, you know? I mean, it's like what's not to like about the card? So anyway, yeah, you know, I looked at that and I was and you know, because I remember this really clearly. I remember when freaking Lucky Clover was like this untouchable card in standard, right? And I thought, oh, okay, hopefully they're going to stop printing these, you know, 2-cost artifacts that come down and generate massive value and you feel like you can't interact with them profitably ever. And nope, we're back at it. We're back at it again. What do you know?
What do you know? It's like they didn't learn from Eldraine or something. They just did Eldraine 2.0. And now we're desensitized to it. We're like, yeah, that's a card, I guess. Oh, 60% of the meta. How could this happen? How could this happen?
What we never saw this coming. Okay, so here's another thing that grinds my gears, CGB.
Let's do it. Yes.
And I feel like you're the perfect person to talk with about this. Is it just monastery mentors all the way down in Magic? Did someone at Wizards HQ decide that we hadn't enjoyed monastery mentor enough the first time? I mean, didn't they just like preview this card? Or maybe we've got this card already, which is like, it's like prowess, but it makes monastery mentors instead. I mean, what is going on?
Wait,
dude?
isn't that an alchemy card?
Is that an alchemy card?
Yeah, that's an
Okay,
alchemy
okay.
card. What's the
saw
name of that card?
And it was like my brain I didn't even want to read it. You know what I mean? I rejected it.
So did it literally make monastery mentors? I'm trying to remember because it's funny.
Yeah, it's a legendary creature that makes non-legendary tokens that are monastery mentors. And I mean, and I'm like, this feels like a statement. This feels like a statement. They're like, no, Cory Steelcutter wasn't enough. Mentor on an artifact? Who would have thought?
Yeah, is that the one that literally makes monastery mentors every time you cast a non-creature spell?
Yes, it literally conjures monastery mentors onto the battlefield. So I don't know who at Wizards HQ is like cackling about this. But someone is like on a meme tear. You know what I mean? Someone just picked up Monastery Mentor and they are just shanghaiing it into every card they can possibly imagine.
Are you not a Monastery Mentor in everything kind of dude? Is that not your jam?
I think you're picking up on how I feel about this.
Okay. So have you played with or against this card?
I have. Okay, Cosmo Grand Zenith.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all.
When you cast your second spell each turn, make 2 1/1s or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. 3 mana, 2/4.
Yeah, that's gonna be fine. That's gonna be great. I'm happy about that.
All right, so you haven't had the pleasure of getting acquainted with this yet?
No, I haven't had the heavy fist of this card shoved in my face.
So far, this card, they banned from the Pixie deck. Okay, did you play against or with the Pixie deck?
I'm familiar with the Pixie deck. Yes.
So they ban This Town Ain't Big Enough, and they ban Hopeless Nightmare, and they're trying to tone down whatever the hell that value pile is. But Nurturing Pixie is still very good, and they seem to love playing stock up and consider playing Kaitos and things like that. Well, guess what?
Well,
they added Cosmo Grand Zenith. Why? Because every card that does a Nurturing Pixie impression, like Fear of Isolation, Sun Pearl Kirin, is basically a 2-spell-in-1 1-mana card. So triggering this every turn is just free. It's just free. And it lets them go wide or tall, whatever they need.
Dude, I just, you know what this is? I'm looking at this card And this is the person at Wizards who makes busted white 3-drops, right? And they were just like, hold my beer. Right? They were like, we need something to dethrone all of these other busted white 3-drops from the past. And here we go.
Remember when Benelish Marshall was good? You know,
Oh my
just
gosh,
3 mana,
dude.
3/3, give everything else +1/+1. That was a card.
Yeah.
That was a real card. They played that.
And we thanked them for it.
I know, beautiful Magic card. And now this is what we have. But that's just a little tidbit of current standard from Esper Self Bounce. It's kind of wild that every card you have to look at in this self bounce kind of lens. That's what this 3-year standard thing has done. It's not about new decks very often. It's about which mythic slots into the already amazing shell that's going to be legal for a good amount of time. And speaking of what do you think? Have you had a look at the metagame numbers since the bans and the rotation?
I've not.
Oh,
no.
What you want to guess what the best deck is?
Well, I mean, based on the context cues.
Am I just I'm burying the lead a little bit here. I get it.
So are you telling me that even after the bans, Izzet is still a dominant deck in the meta?
So here is the biggest top 8 event from Magic Online. This is a 64-player challenge competitive event from 2 days ago. In the top 8, we have an Azorius Control.
Okay, all right. CGB perked up at that.
It wasn't me, but I wish it had been. We have Esper Self Bounce that I just discussed. And what's this? We have Izzet Cauldron. Do you know what Izzet Cauldron is?
Well, I remember the Cauldron. I'm trying to imagine what silly cauldron-y thing are we doing? Because boy, has that card been just popping ever since it was printed.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron, very good card.
Yeah.
Very good card.
Yeah. Are we doing some? Go ahead.
No. Guess. Come on. What do you think you do with a cauldron?
Well, I'm thinking we're in Izzet, right? So we've got access to plenty of draw discard,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
But what's the busted creature silly synergy thing that we're trying to do? See, this is where my oh no.
Oh yes, I sent you Vivi or Natir.
So yeah, dude, this is another one of those cards where I read it and my eyebrow just involuntarily raised. I was like, I don't know which format this card's going to be busted in, but it's going to be busted somewhere.
It's a card. Oh my god.
What I mean, talk about like a Dies to Doomblade card that you are just happy to try. You're gonna roll those dice, man. You're gonna, especially if we can cauldron it.
That's the thing. You talked about the draw discard stuff. So you play limited, you know about Marauding Mako. You discard cards, you put counters on that thing. You know about like Prof's Eidetic Memory, Steam Core Scholar. You know about the Light Shatter, Taste of Light Shatter, whatever that card is that discards 2 and draws 2.
Sure.
Like basically all this rummaging, right? So what you're trying to do is you get creatures on the board, you get counters on them with Prof's Eidetic Memory or this like looting engine like the Mako or the Steam Core Scholar. And then you put out your Vivi and they kill it, and then you cauldron it, and now you have 2 or 3 VVs because they already have counters. You have 2 or 3 VVs already on the field. And now
like hasty, right?
Yeah, they already have the ability. They don't need haste to get the ability. So you make all that mana and you use Winter Night Stories to just dig through your deck and Prof's Eidetic Memory to make the creatures absolutely enormous, so they make even more mana. And they take about a 20-minute turn. Sometimes you end the game, sometimes you don't, but you're just so far ahead that there's nothing the opponent can do. So anyway, this deck, so in this top 8 I was describing, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of this Izzet deck.
Oh my gosh, dude. They just
can't stop. They can't
stop, man. It's funny, right? Because I remember the Simic ascendancy, as it were. I remember the dominance, the just sheer utter dominance of Simic for so long, right, in Standard. And I just remembered thinking, surely they won't let another color pair just so dominate for so long. And here we are. Here we are, CGB. You know, is it paid off the right people? The Is It Guild, you know, Ral frickin' just slipped the right person at Wizards a little extra cash, and here we are.
I would bet money at this point that there was a last second adjustment to Vivi. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
We got the old skull clamp problem.
I feel like this card was supposed to like trigger, say, when you move to combat or when you start your first main phase or something like that. Yeah. And instead, it's just an activated ability. What could go wrong?
Dude, did it have to be just like a 0 colon ability? Couldn't it have been a tap or just something? Right, dude? Anytime I see that on a card, 0 colon, I'm like, I don't know about this. This reminds me of like 90s Magic, right? Where you'd see like some random artifact, right? Some random 5-mana artifact. It was probably terrible. But you know what? It could also just be freaking rip your face off busted. And that's the way Magic used to be, right? And it's like, and whenever I see that activated cost, it just brings an old fear. It revives an old fear in the pit of my gut.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the card you're talking about, but I remember like Chandra's Goggles or something. Pyromancer's Goggles. That was a card that made a Pro Tour top 8. That's a 5-mana artifact that taps for red and copied a spell, and it was in like a ramp deck. I can't imagine these decks getting played anymore. I can't imagine. I wonder what you would do in this format. Would you play Domain? Would you be a Overlord of the Hauntwoods guy?
Well, my friend, I'll tell you what I would be doing, because I was just looking today and I discovered this beautiful card. Are you familiar with Sammy's Curiosity?
Is this 1 green? Hold on. 1 green, make a lander token, gain 2 life?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Look at CGB. His limited brain is turned on. So CGB, they reprinted Neverwinter Dryad, my friend. And as any long-standing fan of the channel and definitely ACP podcast listener will know, Neverwinter Dryad is like, it's probably a top 10 Magic card for me of all time. Certainly a top 10 standard Magic card for me of all time. That was a way of shanghaiing rampant growth into standard, right? And now we've got, this might even be a better version, right? Because it can't get killed.
Do you know that Glimpse the Core is in standard? Are you aware?
Glimpse the Core, man. Which one was that?
I hope I don't let you down too hard with this. I feel like I've got to do it. All right, here. This is a standard legal card that sees 0 play.
Oh yeah, but see, that's just a forest, bro.
Yeah,
it's just a forest.
Okay, I guess you're getting islands. You've got big plans or something.
Dude, this Simic Mage can't be stopped.
Okay, tell me, cook for me.
Well, so this is the problem, right? Because I don't like what are our green payoffs, or just like our big payoffs in standard right now? Because we lost Atraxa in the rotation, didn't we?
We sure did. Yep.
And you know what? Thank God for that, man. Because I'll tell you what, like as a ramp mage, as a dyed-in-the-wool ramp mage. And you might relate to this actually playing, other big endgame archetypes like, Azorius Control, where you get these there's like the best finisher in the format, right? Or there's the best expensive spell in the format. There's the best whatever for that archetype spell in the format. And building anything else just feels foolish, right? It's just like it's like the same dish but with less of the seasoning on it, right?
You're saying it was like Emergent Ultimatum. Yep.
Well, so that's the just the thought of that card wakes something up inside me. So So Atraxa, it was kind of like while Atraxa was in the format, what else was worth ramping into, basically, right? Especially with all of these like domain decks, just strong domain cards being around. So now that card's gone, I don't know. I'll throw this back to you. Like, what's the top end in the standard format right now? What are we ramping into?
I mean, the first card that came to my mind is Doppelgang. That is a pretty sick card. Do you remember this card?
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, here you go.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's a card.
Yeah, to make copies of everything. Good old copy absolutely everything. Here, what do you think of this top end? Here, Atraxa was a 7-drop. This is a 7-drop. What do you think of that one? Jumbo Cactar?
Dude, that's like the timmiest card ever, man. Look at this. No trample? Can a brother get trample? I mean,
have you taken 10,000 damage from this thing? I can think of a card that might be for you, actually. Let's see here. Let's see. What do you think of Dish Leviathan? Famished World Sire.
It's a big looking card. Oh, yeah. I was reading this card, dude.
Yep.
This card's sick.
Devour land 3. When it enters, look at X cards from your library, where X is this creature's power. Put any number of land cards among them onto the battlefield tapped. You often make something with 9 to 15 power and ramp like 3 or 4 lands.
Sure. Yeah. Now, do we have like landfall incentives in standard right now?
We've got a few.
Because that would be cash money. You know?
The Vine Lasher is in standard, like the lizards that just straight up ping you. Yeah. That's kind of nasty.
All right. We're brewing.
We're cooking.
I mean, this definitely feels like a commander card to me, but hey, far be it from me to not try to play big, flashy green cards in standard. Man, you know, it's interesting because I feel like from my tenure in standard, I feel like they were printing these like really like like end the game this turn kind of cards, right? And I feel like they've moved away from that a little bit. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me like that's not so much the focus anymore. It seems like the ramping is a little bit more value focused, a little bit more like extend the game focused. Would you say that that's true?
I mean, sort of. Maybe I guess it depends on the strategy. So have you seen the standard Tifa Lockhart deck?
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah, this feels familiar to me.
Because they have been pushing landfall in a very, especially green, in an aggressive direction. Right. So yeah, Tifa and Mossborn Hydra and a couple bits of landfall will kill you. The frickin' chocobos are crazy. And then this Ice Till Explorer card. Have you seen this card? This is a new one.
Put it up for me.
Let me grab it here. Ice Till Explorer it's 4 mana, 2 green, 2/4. You may play an additional land each turn, Pog. You may play lands from your graveyard. Okay.
Oh, snap.
Crucible and Dryad of the Elysian Grove, 1 card. And you get mill value. This card is busted.
This card is busted. Wow. Dang, dude. Yeah. Nothing's going to go wrong with that. So this brings me to something that I wanted to bring up with you, which is Edge of Eternities just kind of a busted set? Because
is it a busted set?
Am I late to this conversation? Some of these cards seem like, pretty powerful.
It's not like, it doesn't feel like a set that has, like, there's no theme, there's no keyword that just creates a busted deck. There's no adventure here. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, now all the adventure cards are a deck. There's no toxic where it's like, okay, we can build Bant Toxic now. It felt like that's what they were doing for the last several years of Standard, where it's like, okay, in all will be one, we have Toxic and we build our Toxic deck, but it's contained in that space. Soldiers, the white based blue splashing soldier deck was really good out of Brothers War, but it didn't get support for a long time. And I actually thought that was an interesting approach to Standard, where if they can make one or two decks around keywords or types in every single set, then that does, in a way, keep it fresh so that there's something for everybody. This now just feels like Edge of Eternity just feels like a set that has a few insanely pushed cards that slot into the types that are already there.
Right.
And that's kind of it. And if you like, it's kind of the same thing, but it's more focused around the individual card than a pack of like a package of like 4 or 5 cards that fit a theme that maybe played out more in limited or something like that. So there are busted pieces for decks that were already there. I don't see a breakout deck from Edge at all. In fact, looking over a bunch of the cards in Edge, it's like there are so many decks right now that are significant meta play more than a week after set release that have nothing to do with Edge. They don't touch Edge at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a little like the top meta game deck on its own, if you don't count Is It Prowess and Is It Cauldron as the same thing, is Dimir Midrange. And Dimir Midrange is Kaito plus blue-black cheap dorks. That's it. There's like nothing here from Edge. There's some Watery Grave is your Edge card, you know? Yay. So I don't is Edge a busted set? It's just got a few individual busted cards, which I guess is easier to ban around if something goes wrong.
Sure. Well, maybe that's it, because I've just, I've seen some spoilers and I've seen people posting some of these cards, and I'm reading them and I'm just thinking, God, like this, and maybe it's making a big splash in Commander or something like that. Some of these cards just seem really, really powerful. And I actually, side note, pivot into a card that is powerful. I'm not sure whether it's, seeing any Standard play or not, but this seemed like the CGBest card I've seen in a long time, and so I wanted to talk with you about it. Have you built any deck around Weft Walking yet?
No, that is not what I thought you'd say. Weft Walking. This is 4 and 2 blue, 6 total mana enchantment that when it enters, if you cast it, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, draw 7. The first spell each player casts during each of their turns may be cast without paying its mana cost. Yeah, this is a wild card. What the hell do you do with this card?
Well, is there a more CGB card than this? I'm thinking about control decks that last forever. I'm thinking about control decks that shuffle it back in and spin the wheel again. I'm thinking this is in my mind, right? Is you play this as a top end in a control deck where you get to a point in the game where you're both basically top decking, right? Or you only have a couple of cards left.
Sure.
So you slam this card and you refill, and you both get the bonus. But at that point in the game, your opponent they're not exploiting the bonus much, right? Because they're presumably just playing off the top of their deck anyway. So I don't know. This card seems really cool to me.
My immediate fear is that we're not in a format where a card can sit in your hand for 2 turns waiting to be good. It honestly still feels like the format is so fast that you have to have the option of playing your spells every single turn. And I'm worried that like in this current environment with a Weft Walking in my hand and an opponent with 2 creatures, and I'm on turn 4, not 6, but 4, I feel like I've already lost that game. Like I'm just going to die to this board that I didn't answer.
Wow.
Like if you blink, you're going to die. But I'm curious.
Even though Monstrous Rage has been banned, we're still worried about dying.
My control deck isn't gonna block anyways. I'm still very worried about dying, but Weft Walking's interesting. I wish if you were to build the Pixie deck in a way that it exhausted resources, then being able to pick up and recast a Weft Walking against a top decking opponent sounds like such a brutal endgame.
That's what I'm saying,
the,
dude.
the stats on cards like Pixie, like even though it's just a flying like 2/2, they beat you to death way before this becomes a thing. That said, this and a Prof's Eidetic Memory sounds like a good way to end a game, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the CGB Weft Walking deck. I'll put it that way.
I'll get to work. It's been easy mode so far since Edge dropped, of having like decks that were pretty competitively familiar that I could play. I haven't done any deep brew. I can show you what I've won the most games with, if you'd like to see from this set. Have you seen Singularity Rupture?
No, show me that.
All right, Singularity Rupture is 6 mana, like Weft Walking here, blue and black sorcery. Destroy all creatures, and then I did number.
Read this card.
Yeah,
I did read this card. I mean, this is another card that reads like a commander card to me. But are you milling people out, dude? Are you doing it?
So there is kind of a Splinter Twin in the format. So I'll show you River Churn Monument. Do you know this card?
No, show it to me.
It's just a sneaky little Aether Drift artifact.
Oh, it's just like Millstone again.
Except that exhaust ability, though. Check that exhaust.
Oh, so that's a 2-card combo. Oh, snap. Okay.
Boom, bam, whoosh. And that's with a board wipe in between, you know? So if they're trying to kill you with creatures, nah. If you actually get to enough mana to cast the Rupture, you're good. You got this, dude. It's fine.
I'll bet you're getting a lot of nices on the ladder with that, huh?
People are making fun of me because on my second channel, CovertGo2, where I just like throw a bunch of the content that I don't know what else to do with because it doesn't make for a good video. I was like playing this and I got really salty with somebody because they were doing that in early access, the like Singularity Rupture. Dude, early access, you were in early access. You try not to salt too hard, especially if you're a control mage. True. You try not to make everybody mad because we're all supposed to be having fun. I played against so many control decks running this combo, and eventually I'm just like, I can't anymore. They can't be doing me better than me while I'm here trying to have some kind of a principle about it. I've got to do it. I've got to play this deck, and
oh my god,
damn it, I did.
Yeah. Well, no, you nailed it, right? Every early access, there's at least one deck where like you do want to scoop to it. You just want to, you want to escape. You want to move on to the next match. It was Lotus Cobra back in the freaking Zendikar Rising, right?
Omnath, yeah. Everybody had to try the 4-color Omnath, but it gave you a taste of how miserable that was going to be. Oh my god.
Right, where you're already tired of something and you've only been playing the new format for one day.
Yes. Yes.
So you're allowed, CGB. You're allowed. Yeah.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind when I get like kicked out of Discord servers. It's like, at least Arjuna's my friend.
Well, at least he agreed with me. But side note, doesn't this feel like the Amonkhet-iest card to ever Amonkhet? I'm just looking at the art. I'm looking at the theme. This feels like such an Amonkhet card to me.
So anyway. Amonkhet was one of the stops in Aether Drift on their 3-plane race. So it is an Amonkhet card.
It is an Amonkhet card. Nailed it.
But all right. We just barely visited it. The set's like a third Amonkhet with race cars. So let's just say Amonkhet didn't get a second visit in the proper sense. I don't think we've talked since Aether Drift dropped, have we?
No, we've not.
We've not. You know what? What was the last set we covered?
Oh boy, the last set we covered.
Let's just, you know what? Let's just do this here. We'll just do this here. Gas or ass? Amonkhet. Yes. No. Sorry, Libby. I need a second shot at that. Gas or ass? Aether Drift edition. What do you think of the set?
It's all ass for me, dude. I could not do Ether Drift, man. It's just like this is like the worst combination of like pod racing, and I start to feel the taint of Universes Beyond creeping into like regular Magic. You know what I mean? It's like okay, I think pod racing is such a good it's such a good analysis because I think we were all like, we showed up to watch the first Star Wars film in who knows how long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you and I are of the same generation, CGB, so I feel like I can confidently speak for you as well as me that going into the theater to see that movie was like a peak experience
Packed
in life, right?
Midnight premiere, like news outlets were there, radio channels were there were giveaways, there were lines, everybody was excited as hell.
Yeah.
I will never forget that premiere.
Yeah, I mean, it was just stunning, right? So the Phantom Menace comes out, and you know, I probably enjoyed the hell out of it because I was 12 or whatever. But it's like you look back on that film, and there's this like weird taint of pod racing that just clings to that.
I was, I believe 19. I believe I was 19. I walked out like,
that's how old we were.
I walked out being like, Jar Jar Binks is, what the fuck was that? And who gives a damn about pod racing?
Dude, it's like an hour of that film is pod racing, right?
Is.
And it's like we wanted to see lightsabers, we wanted to see Wookiees, we wanted to see X-Wings blowing up in space, right? I mean, come on, dude, right? And we spend an hour on freaking, you know, Tatooine, like with some 6-year-old kid pod racing. And so anyway, all of that to say that Ether Drift brought that like nauseous taint of pod racing. It was like pod racing meets Magic. That's what it was for me, dude.
Oh God. So we're talking about Star Wars becoming pod racing and then Magic becoming pod racing. We're coming right back to space pretty soon with Edge of Eternities, but I'm gonna try to keep some order in this.
Okay.
So Tarkir Dragonstorm. At least it came out quickly after Aether Drift. Gas or ass?
Okay, so I'm giving it gas, but I'm giving it reluctant gas.
Reluctant gas. Okay.
Yeah, it's that kind of like, it's like you have to fart, but you really don't want to. You know that's what Tarkir was for me. I was like, if this is what it takes for me to have like some good old fashioned Magic, all right, I'll do it. But I have to say that set, there was something, it's hard for me to put my finger on it. I wanted to be so excited for that set, and it just didn't end up delivering the excitement that I was hoping for. And it's hard for me to say exactly why. I think, and you know, my exposure to it is mostly from a limited perspective because I played it in limited, and it almost felt like a more boring Eldraine to me, or something like that. I don't know if that's because of the Omen mechanic, right?
Those were weird.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird mechanic for me. I think it was the templating. We've gotten so used to Adventure, and the Omen cards behaved in actually a pretty different way.
Whoever kind of greenlit will make it look exactly like Adventures, but have it functionally different. I have a message for you. We don't get many brain breaks in Magic, but one thing we enjoy is when a card looks like a duck in terms of like the structure, the layout, the templating, it behaves like a duck. And that is like Adventure, especially now that we've had it multiple times. I didn't know. I was an ambassador on Tarkir. I got access to the set like 6 weeks early or something like that to record Commander content. It took Amy the Amazonian flying in from Boston, recording a Commander game with me like a few days before the set released, being like, oh, actually, that doesn't work that way. And I'm like, huh?
Right?
Yeah. So thank God for her. But my goodness, I could have I would have never even bothered like reading all that fine print. I'm like, I know what an adventure is. It looks like an adventure. It makes sense.
Right.
There are dragons, there are adventures. This is fine. But the second like you don't send it to exile and you shuffle it back in, you're like, oh, this is a lot worse than I actually thought it was. And it's very unfulfilling.
That's the problem. I felt the same way with the mechanic. It's like you want to be excited about it and you actually end up like, well, and also, can I just say this? I don't think Magic needs more shuffle your deck text, right? This is this is something I would like to get away from. So yes,
arena players don't understand, but paper players, it's like, oh my god, yes.
And Commander players, dude, Commander players. Anyway, so so reluctant ass for me on Tarkir.
Reluctant ass on Tarkir. I thought it was reluctant gas. Did we switch it?
I mean, sorry, reluctant gas.
Okay, it was going to be controversial there for a second. I think everybody wants to love Tarkir so deeply because it is the only set we have that feels like a Magic set in basically.
Yeah.
It feels like years at this point. So
it does feel like years, doesn't it? I know.
Yeah, so we have to embrace it because it's like one of us. But we do wish it were better. We do wish it were better.
That's exactly.
Okay, we've come to Gas or Ass Final Fantasy Edition. I am an absolute no familiarity with Final Fantasy, no emotional tie to Final Fantasy. I will preface this. I want to hear all about where you're coming from, but I need to preface it by saying I didn't see this coming. I did not know the fan base was this rabid. I did not know they would be this into Magic or collecting the product. I had no idea this would be the monster that it turned out to be.
Wow. Okay. Well, I hear you, and I've been a Final Fantasy fan, since my teens, and there is zero surprise for me with how this has all gone. I mean, that universe has a rabid fan base, and I'm one of them. I don't know if you remember this, CovertGoBlue, but the username that I chose during beta for MTG Arena was Chocobo Canyon.
That's right. God damn it. I was trying to remember what it was. That's right. And I had no idea what that meant. And you started being like, well, this Final Fantasy. And I just zoned right out. Yeah. Oh. Dude.
And it's a bit of that username will probably make any Final Fantasy lover kind of twitch a little bit because it's a mishmash, right? It's not a thing. Chocobo Canyon isn't a thing. Cosmo Canyon is a thing. Chocobo Canyon is not a thing. So it was a bit of a what's the term? It was a bit of a dig, right?
Okay. So it was a couple of troll. A couple of deep cuts.
Yeah, it was a troll. So anyway, but yes, I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. And there's like this incredible ecosystem of like collectibles, like if you walk into the kind of nerd palace of someone who's like really into collectibles, right? There's like a 50% chance that they're going to have like some kind of Final Fantasy action figure collectible of some kind or another, right? I mean, there's something really iconic about it. And so, it does not surprise me that this is like the best-selling Magic set of all time. And this might be the hardest gas or ass for me ever, dude. Seriously, like this, I feel so torn by this because on the one hand, it's like everything I love, right? I love Final Fantasy so much. I mean, I just like fired up FF7 and played through it. This was like in the last month. And it's probably my 20th playthrough, something like that.
Damn.
And dude, and that game takes about 40 hours to beat. It's not your first playthrough is more like an 80-hour playthrough, right? So and I beat the game, and I literally the same night started it again.
Wow.
So I mean, this is like,
you're a big fan.
This is the level of like fanaticism that I have for this game, and I am not alone. All right, I'm not alone in this. Like, there's something about it, and so I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan, and I just can't get into this set, dude. I just can't do it, man. It's like it feels wrong. It feels wrong to me.
I know
Yep,
you have a strong opinion against like Universes Beyond in your Magic stuff. That's crazy because this is supposed to be your set.
It's supposed to be my set. It really is. Yeah. And I think that I'm like one of the people that they were probably targeting, right? And it's not a hit for me, dude. I have to give it an ass. I have to give it an ass.
You gave Final Fantasy ass.
It hurts.
Wow.
It hurts. I didn't expect that. We're gonna have to have a talk when I get home, but it's just I can't do it. Wow. I'm taking a stand.
You prefer Final Fantasy in your Final Fantasy games and Magic in your Magic games? Is that it? Is it that simple? Or is it the cards? Is it the way that the cards work? Is it the way that the characters feel?
I do have to say that there is an aspect of that. And this is something I've learned about myself over the years. I'm a bit of a wild card when it comes to Magic sets. You know what I mean? Someone could be like, this looks like the Arjuna-iest set ever. And I'll just take one look at it and it's just a nope. And it's this weird, it's like a visceral thing. It's hard to describe. Maybe you have this in Magic or in some other area of your life, some other fandom, right? Where like, you'll just take one look at something and it's either a yes or it's a no. And I don't know whether it's like the art design or the initial mechanics, or I don't know. I think it's made me realize that there's a lot that goes into the design of all of these sets, and a lot of it's unconscious, right? And we might not think about that much, but I'll tell you who does think about that a lot is freaking Wizards of the Coast, right? They've got that down. Like that, I actually think that that's one of the secret, or maybe not so secret, brilliances of Wizards of the Coast is that they've taken design and like game design and visual design and kind of art direction to a whole new level. I actually don't know anyone who does it better than they do. And it's the whole experience, right? We're talking like what's on the booster box, what's on the pack, the little icon on the cards, right? The borders, the color schemes, the foiling, it's just like when you think about the sheer amount of design that goes into these sets, it's really quite stunning. And so I do think that there are some of these sets where my design person just turns off. Like I look at these cards and I'm like, not for me.
Wow. And Final Fantasy, one of those. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can they rebound? That was June. This is August. We are currently on the edge of eternities. It's not a space set. It's not a Star Wars Universes Beyond. It is a Magic the Gathering set that is set on the edge of eternities, which is somewhere in outer space where there's Tezzeret and some brand of hooligans working to try to like get some magical MacGuffin away from a black hole. What do you think?
Okay, so this is almost like an inverse of the last one, where it's like, I don't like it, but I think it's gas. So
really?
Okay.
Really?
So let me explain. I thought that I would be more open to Magic in space than I turned out to be. And I think the set that kind of primed me for that was Neon Dynasty. Mm-hmm. So I initially felt a little resistant to Neon Dynasty, but when it actually showed up, I was like full yes to that set. And I think I remember you also being really stoked about Neon Dynasty, right? And I think part of it was the idea and part of it was the execution. So I think for me, Edge of Eternities, the vibe of it makes me feel a little bit off in the way that Neon Dynasty did when I first looked at it. But I think that the execution is really good. And, I think that the art is incredible. I think that a lot of the card designs are really cool. And so I think like as a Magic set, I think it's fantastic, and I think that the flavor of it is really interesting. And I mean, come on, dude, we all knew that it was going to happen, right? We knew that Magic was coming to space eventually.
Did we? Did we? I don't buy that premise. I don't. We have a lot of planes. Did we have to get in a spaceship and blast off? And I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, if I don't know, I feel like as soon as Emrakul showed up on the scene, there was like space foretold, right?
Yeah, the blind eternities though are like, isn't that like a different dimension? I don't know. I'm not
Doesn't
ready.
That sound like space to you?
It does to some people. Clearly, I think that many would agree with you about the Eldrazi, and there were nods to the Eldrazi and nods to slivers in the set, but. Yeah, as far as actually having to do a set where we're in space, I was like, isn't this Unfinity stuff? Like, what are we doing?
Well, so I mean, let's flip it around to you then, CGB. Edge of Eternities, gas or ass?
So you're saying it's gas. You're saying Edge of Eternities is gas.
I'm saying it's gas, yeah.
So this is the first set I did go through the Tarkir Dragonstorm lore and the Aetherdrift lore. Oh my god, I did not have fun doing that. The Edge of Eternities lore is the first lore they've done in a while that was written by like kind of an author who really like I'm probably disrespecting somebody with this who writes the Magic lore, but I'm going to say they got a sci-fi author to write sci-fi lore, and I was excited about it. I still, after all was said and done, thought the story was just kind of okay, and it felt really weird to just have Tezzeret bopping around in space, just doing space stuff. It just didn't work for me from a lore sense and from a planar sense. The cards I like the cards. I still don't get the vibe. So it's cards. There are gas cards, but when I look back at what was Edge of Eternities, there's two important things I'll remember. One, I felt disconnected from the lore because it still doesn't feel like a proper Magic set to me, so that gets kind of an ass. And then the other ass, it's been brutal to content, dude. Like, content wasteland out here. It's not that it's a failure. It's just we haven't seen the enthusiasm that we've seen around other sets. And part of that is probably dropping a big set into rotation in July, which feels weird as hell. People are out doing things for the summer. So I'm not exactly blaming the set for the audience, but I can't help it. I'm a content creator. I'm in here working. So when I look back at Edge of Eternities, I'm going to look at a lot of the content I put a lot of work into and be like, it kind of landed a little flat, and I know I'm not the only creator seeing that. So that's a tough one. So I have to give a probably a 60 to 70% amount of ass to Edge of Eternities.
Well, you bring up a really good point, and I remember this as well from being a content creator, is that you're really in a unique position when it comes to keeping a finger on the pulse of Magic. I would almost say content creators probably know as much as anyone does, kind of how it's feeling, right? Like what's in the force, right? You're kind of Jedis feeling into the force of the fandom.
Yeah, we have real data. We have real ice cold market feedback on our work. It's not a Reddit post that got the most upvotes. It's not a Twitter post that got the most retweets. Those can give you a sense of what's going on with a percentage. But when our views are down a certain percentage versus the last set, that is a real thing. And Aetherdrift definitely had that problem. It was by far the worst. It was worse than Edge of Eternities, but Edge is like not hanging with Tarkir, Final Fantasy, or any of the releases last year.
Well, that's really interesting data, and it's cool to hear it. I mean, I'm sorry to hear it, but it's also, it's and I remember that feeling of like, you publish a thing and then it's not getting the engagement that you expect, and there's this like fall in the pit of your stomach, right? Or it's just like,
I'm like the kid who's been on too many roller coasters. I don't feel it in my gut anymore. I just look at it and be like, yeah. So like part of it's like, I can say things like it's July. It would probably take something very powerful to capture the zeitgeist and get us all to get back in our house or watching YouTube videos and thinking about Magic the Gathering in July when we could be out doing nice summer things. But like, Yeah, I don't go on the roller coaster anymore. I just like, okay, start working on the next one almost immediately, which brings us to preemptive, like pre-gasser ass hype.
Okay.
Gasser ass on the hype. Dude,
Let's do it.
This probably honestly affected. I think this is the first time I have seen spoiler seasons get affected. I think Tarkir Dragonstorm's spoiler season was affected by Final Fantasy getting spoiled before that set was even out to some extent. But I think this one was even more brutal. The day of early access that we were doing our early access event for Edge of Eternities, they were releasing and revealing Spider-Man cards on the Wizards channel. They were and for that week at Comic-Con, they revealed more Spider-Man and Avatar cards. So I think that really did something. It really did feel like the mindset of the community was off edge before it released, which I think is a very brutal thing to do to your own product. But hey, the calendar's the calendar. I'm sure there's a reason. So let's go to pre-hype for Spider-Man.
The
head shake. You don't even have to say it.
CGB's known me long enough to know how I feel about Spider-Man, dude. I don't think I've felt this much ire towards a Magic product since freaking Fortnite. I really don't. Wow. Just looking at these Spider-Man cards makes me so mad, dude. It engages me on a visceral level. It feels so wrong.
It feels wrong. Huh.
We all have different levers on what feels wrong in Magic, right? And that's one of my levers. And I think I didn't even realize it until I saw it. There's just something about, I think it's like, because it's a comic book thing, it feels doubly wrong. Mm-hmm. And I see why people make the connection in their minds, like comics, Magic, the kind of, they play together. Like I used to buy Magic cards in my comic book store, right?
Nerd stuff. Like it's nerd stuff.
Yeah. So I could totally see, but it's kind of like for example, when Warhammer met Magic, even though it felt like kind of like a marriage across rival lines, right?
Yes.
But there was something about it that felt like, okay, they kind of play in the same space. I can kind of see it. But for some reason, like the Marvel universe entering Magic feels so wrong to me. It feels like a different level of wrong. And I mean, just on a side note, I just don't like Spider-Man, dude.
Not your jam, huh?
Tobey Maguire, just not into it. Not into it. Although I will say Mary Jane slaps.
Okay. Sure. I remember going to Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. It wasn't that far away from The Phantom Menace and feeling like those were the coolest movies I'd ever seen in a theater.
Oh, wow.
Like up there with Jurassic Park, which is always going to be my all-time favorite movie theater movie.
Which, by the way, crossover when?
I already happened.
Did it?
Yeah. Did you miss it?
Did I miss it?
It was in Ixalan, yeah. Lost Caverns of Ixalan.
Did they actually though?
Did they actually?
Like was it like when they did the man, why can't I remember stuff today? Like the Ghidorah and the
It wasn't
Mothra.
It wasn't a set. It was like a bonus sheet in boosters, but like I just sent you welcome to.
Oh, okay. So they actually did it. Yeah, they actually did it.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you happy about that?
Yeah. I'm a dinosaur idiot and a Jurassic Park idiot. I loved it. I played a bunch of Commander with the various legendaries from the set. I bought the secret layers. Yeah, I'm a freaking simp for Jurassic Park, dude. I'm all in. It's dinosaurs. So, I don't care.
So if they released a full Jurassic Park set, would you be a gas on that?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. I'm mad they didn't. I'm mad they didn't.
Well, and you know what's interesting? It's like I probably would be too. And I think that's what makes these universes beyond and stuff so interesting, is that it's so much about like the visceral kind of because I can't make any logical argument for why this passes the test and some of these other ones don't. But I also love Jurassic Park, and I think it would be a cool product.
But Spider-Man is a full ass.
It's a hard no. It's a hard no, dude. There are other Marvel things that would have gone over better for me as well, but Spider-Man is just, I just want to punch him. Just want to punch him.
Okay. I mean, I've got to be like, looking at these cards, there is, and you can laugh at me all you want to on the internet. You can leave your little comments of, well, what does she expect from a Spider-Man set? I'm saying it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the thing. It makes me sound a little stupid, but I'm saying the thing. There are way too many Spider-Men on these Spider-Man cards. Every card has a Spider-Man. Okay, I mean, you look at a Magic set, you can go through all the Magic set. You can go through the Final Fantasy. There's so many different legendaries. I bet there's like 100 legendaries in this set, and I bet every single one of them has been bitten by a fucking radioactive spider. And there's a Spider-Man on everything. Everything has a Spider-Man. It's like they tried to turn Magic into the Spider-Man pointing meme, and they succeeded. There is a Spider-Man everywhere in this set. Everything, everywhere, always will be Spider-Man. I'm like, it's a bit much, dude. It's a bit much. It's hard to take a set like this and find cards in it that you're going to slot into your standard without having Spider-Man in your face is my big concern. Is my big concern. But you know what? It is what it is. I can't control much about that. Here's what grinds my gears.
Oh, please.
Have you heard about the Arena thing?
I've not heard about the Arena
thing. You don't know this.
This is new to me.
So, you know that they made a decision last year that Universes Beyond will be in Standard. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know that Arena has to keep pace with Paper Standard.
Of course.
So what if I told you that either they could not get or did not want to pay the amount that was being asked for the digital rights to Spider-Man?
Dude, wait, so Arena Standard is going to be out of sync with Paper Standard?
Oh, no. They found a solution. It's going to be fine.
Okay, how are we doing this?
We are releasing a set on Arena that is identical in function without any Marvel IP.
Oh my god, dude. That might be the cringiest thing I've ever. So what's it gonna be? Is it the cards are just gonna be like,
I imagine it will
Rando 2000? Like, what's it gonna be?
I imagine it will be something about going to a magic plane with Spider City, visiting the lost Spider City of Utabi or something. Yavimaya goes radioactive. I don't know, but I can guarantee. I am really curious to see. The spotlight will be on it to see, like, did the designers put in the work, or did they literally just slap some spider art from Giant Spider from like maybe 7th edition Giant Spider on a card and call it not Peter Parker? Like, what are we gonna do? It's a train wreck you can't look away from, and it's coming to Magic Arena this fall. So,
dude, can you imagine the team that gets assigned to make that set?
I feel bad for
them. Dude, they're gonna be like the kids in the corner of the class, dude.
I feel bad for them. They didn't ask for this, but that's you know what it is? It's like, hey, welcome to the job, kid. You're an intern at Wizards of the Coast. You want to be a game designer? Here's your first task. We need 100 non-distinct, non-copyright infringing cards that do exactly these things that were made exactly to be like a Marvel property that we're not gonna reference. Like,
right, it's like walking into a first date and the person's like, so you're my plan B, but let's try to have fun tonight.
Yep.
Oh my
yep.
gosh, dude.
How about this? I feel great for all the artists who overnight got commissions for like 200 spiders. Just it's a spider doing something, a spider doing anything. Are you good at spiders? Yeah.
Dude, you're right. There's like one or two magic artists out there who are like pogging off their chairs right now. They're like, we trained for this.
Their time has come. And what does this mean for the next Marvel set and the next one and the next one, right? So
gosh,
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a ride. It's going to be a wild ride.
The magic, the inceptioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really does. It kind of, this is what I was talking about, right? It's like they're taking the sheet of magic and they're just stretching it and it's buckling under the pressure, right? The multiverse is buckling under the pressure of all of this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it isn't Bolus this time. It's it's Galactus or whatever. So you haven't asked for Spider-Man. I'm not ready. I'm annoyed by the amount of spiders, but some of the cards look cool. The arena thing is nonsense, but I'm a content creator, so you kind of embrace nonsense to an extent. And I'm not ready to just proclaim it ass. I was a big Spider-Man fan as a kid. I'll give it a shot, but like I'm trying to stay impartial at this point in my career. And that brings us to the last Magic release of the year. Only 6 sets going into Standard this year, by the way. Avatar, The Last Airbender. They have revealed a few cards. Do you have an opinion on Avatar? Are you an Avatar? Have you watched the show? What do you think of it in Magic? Have you seen the cards?
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
Nice.
I love Avatar. Although I'm like one of those nerdy hipsters who's like, I liked Korra better, but whatever.
That's great.
I can't do it, dude.
No?
I can't do it.
Okay, but I don't care. You do need to read Avatar Aang, and you need to tell me if this card reminds you of anything. Specifically the backside.
Okay, here we go. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Each upkeep, may transform. Oh my gosh, dude. What? They shanghaied one of my least favorite Magic cards ever onto this card.
Say it.
Why, dude? Will they never kill Omnath? Will they never kill Omnath? Dude, it's like witness protection. I'm telling you, it's like witness protection. They did it with Goldspan Dragon. They did it with Uro for that matter. Uro just got off for a ridiculously long amount of time. Why are we still dealing with Omnath, my brother?
Omnath, Locus of Creation. It does seem so inspired by one of the most broken cards to ever be printed for Standard. We don't know what Earthbend, Waterbend, Firebend, or Airbend necessarily mean. I'm guessing it's casting a spell of that color, but if you transform this, there is a lot of Omnath in this card, and that wasn't fine before, and sure as hell won't be fine now. What are we doing? Oh my god.
Witness protection, dude. That's all I gotta say. Witness protection. Wait, let me read the front side of this. Ooh, firebending. I'm curious what that's. So I wonder if yeah. Okay, right. So each bending, presumably, I wonder if they're going to be different abilities or if they're all going to be like a similar ability but for different colors or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine it's casting a spell of each color, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got the same stats and the same casting cost as Omnath, Locus of Creation.
Hey, you know what, dude? It doesn't draw a card on the way in.
We're fine.
I'll give him that.
It's good.
I'll give him that.
Did you hear somebody said the reason they added draw a card to that card? Did you hear this?
No. Was it some other skull clamp nonsense?
No. They added draw a card to Omnath, Locus of Creation so that because there's an ETB trigger, you have a chance to respond to the trigger by killing it so that the landfall doesn't happen.
Cool. So we'll just make it draw a card. Yeah, it couldn't have just been like gain 2 life or something. They're like, the ETB trigger is create an OCO token. There you go.
Yeah, we did it.
We fixed it for you.
We solved it. Yep. Well done. Well done. My wife and I watched Avatar recently, just over the last couple months. Really enjoyed it. We're both really looking forward to the set for Commander. For Standard, it's so hard for me to get amped about a set anymore because Standard is so weird now with 3-year rotation, Foundations 5-year legal, and 6 new sets a year. It's like, it's really hard to make an impact on Standard, and when something does, it's usually in the busted way. So Standard feels really weird to me. I don't get excited, but I'm excited. Like, we're all in on Avatar for Commander. My wife and I are going to play it a lot, so we have gas for Commander Avatar. What about you?
Dude, yeah, for Commander, I think a lot of this stuff is fine. You know, it's just like, I think Commander is kind of where a lot of this belongs. And it's hard to tease out in myself why Standard feels different, but it does. You know, I think it's like these eternal formats have all kinds of random crap in them, right? And Commander especially has always been the format where kind of random cards went to get a new life. And so, and there's a proud tradition of people kind of homemaking their own versions of cards and stuff. And I think that's great. I actually think that's one of the coolest things about Magic is that you can be a nerd with an idea and a printer, and you can make some really cool Magic cards. And I love that about Magic. I just think that when Wizards does it, it kind of hits different, right? So I think Commander's the place for this. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could wave a magic wand and reverse a decision, like I've said since they, like, over the years, like, I've been asked questions like that, like, if I were WotC, like, if I could reverse a decision or fix something in Magic or change something, what would I do? And yeah, it's a fun question, and I'll throw it back to you in a second. I'm going to give you a minute to think about it by pontificating about answers I've given in the past. So a big one for me was bringing back GPs, just so that I could. Oh yeah. I know it's selfish. I know it doesn't technically add to the bottom line. I don't expect it to make money. But a big thing about GPs for me was you would have a tournament of a relevant current format with thousands of people playing, and I could leave that coverage on in my house all weekend and feel connected to the game. To the game. It was just, I wasn't a content creator. I was doing other things with my life. I was running a different business, but I never fell out of touch with Magic, even while I wasn't collecting it or playing it, because I had that connection, and I missed that connection quite a bit. And now, in theory, I'm more invested than ever, but it feels like a lot of, I don't know, it's a lot of transactional connections, and it's hard for me to find exactly what I love about the game. I find it mostly, honestly, in like universes beyond Commander. I really do, getting to like play commanders that I'm very excited to play, and a lot of them do come out of universes beyond, like Deadpool and Wolverine and things like that. Just feels really fun for me to have these thematic commander games with these characters. So that I've answered bring back GPs to this question. I've also, ever since it happened, I've said 3-year standard was a mistake. I still feel that way.
Yeah. Dude.
I still feel really strongly about that.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, and again, I'm not talking about the bottom line. I'm talking about like how I feel about the game. So obviously it's a feelings equation. But I think if I got one magic wand wave, I would probably keep Universes Beyond and Commander. I think I would. It just feels weird in Standard, man. It feels really weird in Standard. I'm not sure I can handle it in the long term. I'm working on it, but it's tough. I think Commander was the perfect place for these things to happen. Perfect. And I don't know. Well, I know why they moved away from it. They want more people to play Standard. And maybe in the long term, they're right and I'm wrong, and that works, and more people do play Standard. And that would be good for my career as well. but I'm not there yet. I haven't accepted this, and I need to see a few more receipts. I really need to see it working. Right now, it doesn't feel like it works.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah, I think that's a great wand wave. And yeah, I was thinking about it, for me, I think this is very much biased towards kind of me and my experience of Magic. But if I could wave my magic wand, I think I would have wanted them to have done their esports push for MTG differently, right? I think that whole failed thing with the MPL, and because you remember there was a couple of years there where the higher ups at WotC and maybe Hasbro were like, let's try to make digital Magic a thing. And they really did. They put money into it. They put staff into it.
Yep.
I think we could both argue that there were some key things that they didn't put into it, but they really did. It was clear that it was like an effort. It was clear that it was on their mind, right? And I just wish that I don't know where it went afoul. I don't know if they didn't take it as seriously as they needed to. Maybe they just needed to push that boulder a little harder up the hill. Maybe it was mismanaged. Maybe the kind of shot callers and people making the strategy just got the strategy wrong. But it didn't come together. And I just really, that has always been like a heartbreak for me, because I think the rest of this stuff, whether or not I like the decisions that they've made, like Universes Beyond and whatever, it's hard to say that it hasn't been a success. You know what I mean? It's
True.
It's like maybe they'll kind of milk the Magic IP so much that it'll eventually fall off, and it'll finally be the death of Magic event that everyone's been, the doom foretold that has been forecast. But it's kind of hard to argue that Magic is struggling right now, because it's clearly not. But I do think that Arena is like a shadow of what it could have been. And that will always feel heartbreaking to me, because I love Arena, I mean, yeah. I've loved Magic since day one, practically. I've loved Magic since 1993, but I've never felt so connected to the game as I did when I was in my Arena heyday. Like that Magic hit for me on a whole different level. I experienced community on a whole different level, even before I was making content. Just playing on Arena, hanging out on subreddits, being on Twitter, it was really, it like brought Magic into my home, and it brought Magic into my day-to-day. And that was really special for me. It really was. And especially like you were saying, the pandemic call out, it happened at the right time. And it really got me through some hard times. So I love Magic Arena, and there were just some moments where I felt like it got done dirty. It just got done really dirty, and so that would be my magic wand.
Gotcha. I mean, that's not a bad one either. Like, I think that totally makes sense. Maybe I can get you back into Arena. Do you think there's a world where you come back?
Oh man, life has been better after video games. I've not been video gaming much lately, and I think it's been a healthy choice for me.
Whoa. Hold on now. We're not gonna tell our audience not to game, right? I've got a vested interest in this.
Hey man, I'm just one voice out here in the wilderness.
You're touching grass.
Everyone's
you're having a good life outside the arena. Oh my gosh. I mean, what are we going to do with you?
I did just spend, 40 plus hours playing through Final Fantasy again. So it's still got its hooks in me, but
true. All right, I've got something for you. I'm sending you something right now. I want you to look at this. Did you see these tags that they introduced that you can earn? Like, you can earn these, what are they called? Labels or whatever? They're like achievements. Here, check this out. What's that say under my name? What's that say?
Crafty? Hell yeah, dude.
They're trying to get you back. Don't you have to come back and earn the crafty badge?
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude. I do, I feel the pull. Every once in a while. And you know, maybe, who knows, maybe I'll get back in the chair sometime soon. And if I do, dude, you'll be the first person I call, for real.
I imagine we'll do a podcast about it. Sounds good. Anything else for this podcast? Any other subjects we didn't hit, or something you definitely wanted to cover?
You know, I know you got places to be, and I probably do too. So I just wanted to give a big heart for the Craft Nation. Anyone who's watching this who remembers the hot fire that was CGB and I chatting every week, I still have love for y'all. I still think about y'all. The ArenaCraft Podcast is still one of my proudest achievements in life. And I'm just really stoked about every second of my time and effort and attention that I put into that. So yeah, I think about the, you know, kind of predominant crafties that I met throughout the experience, regularly, and you're just all really dear people to me. And so I just wanted you to know that the fire still burns in my heart for the Craft Nation, and I'll always be proud of that.
Do you remember? Do we have an outro? Did you prepare an outro? I'm trying to remember.
So the outro used to be, you can find ArenaCraft Podcast in pretty much any place that you could find podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. You can find CovertGoBlue streaming regularly. I don't know. Do you still stream on Twitch, CovertGoBlue?
No.
No. All right. Well,
but you can find me on YouTube.
Okay, you can find CGB on YouTube. You can also find me streaming regularly absolutely nowhere, because I'm not doing that these days.
Hell yeah.
But in the meantime, crafties, go out, be bold, be brave, brew new decks. Don't be afraid to defy the metas. And I look forward to talking with you the next time that we spin it up. And CGB?
Later, crafties.